Happy Thursday wherever you are. It's the afternoon here in California, morning in Hawaii, where we will be heading shortly. My name is Kristen Thomas, and I'm honored to get to do these interviews every Thursday for SubConnect. They are live. They immediately go to IGTV on their channel on Instagram, and then will be put on their YouTube channel afterwards. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Hi, Sarah and others. Great to have you here. Today, we're talking to a wonderful young lady. Her name's Lara Claydon. I believe she goes by Lala, but I'm going to have to ask her about that because I've never called her that, but maybe her family does. She is from Maui, Hawaii. She started stand-up paddling when she was 12 and really has been very involved and has put in a lot of years, sup surfing, sup racing, sup downwinding, and just being an all-around professional water woman. Usually our little tease, we wait till the end, but she has some big news and I can't wait to talk about it. So we won't wait too long because I know some of you would love to know also what Lara Claydon is up to and what she's going to share with us today. But lots of to share, and look forward to catching up with my young friend, Lara Claydon. We are so lucky that we have people from all over that are so fantastic to talk to. And there's Lara. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. I surfed this morning in your honor.
Oh,
Since I was going to be talking to you and I knew we'd talk a lot about surfing.
yes. Did you get some good waves? At least?
It was pretty good. It was decent. We haven't had a lot over the last month in California, but yeah, it's always fun and always great to get salty. But let's
Yes.
talk about you. And I don't know if you heard my little intro. You have
I
big news to share, so I don't want to wait till the very end like we usually do because I want to. But we won't start off with that. We do need to start with just 12 years old. You've gotten into it. You've been 8 years on the APP tour, which is crazy. I mean, I think the whole time it's been around pretty much, right?
Yeah.
You've grown up in the sport, but tell us about your youth. It sounds like you're a water baby, and then how you got into stand up.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I started surfing when I was little. My dad would take me out surfing, and he also, I was born in Ventura, so we would do like long distance paddles like on his prone board along the coast. So I think that's where I picked up like my love for the ocean. And then we moved to Maui when I was 5 and just started surfing here. I mean, you can't not surf in Hawaii. And when I was 12, I got into stand-up paddling from my dad, and then we saw Slater Trout stand-up paddling and Zane because we all would surf at Lani Poco. So that's how I picked up stand-up paddling, and then I did my first event in the APP World Tour at
Wow.
Turtle Bay. And
Jumping right in. An international competition as your first. I love that.
that was our first comp. And then, yeah, me and Izzy were like the youngest ones there. We were just there with all the women competing. And I don't think I made it very far. I think I lost in round 2, but it was good. It was my first experience doing the competition, so that was good.
Yeah. And you had big things at 13 and at 14 also. When did you first come to California? I think I probably met you at Sup Fiesta because I always got to be part of the familia that helped run that
Yes.
wonderful event that was youth focused. So when did you come to that first?
My first time I came to that, I think, was, let's see,
Was that your first California, first out of Hawaii
that was my
event?
first Hawaii event, yeah. And then I think I did it the first year they ever ran it. So was that 2013? No,
Yeah.
2014.
Yeah. You were 13, 14 years old?
14 years old, yeah. And then, yeah, because when I went, we trained really hard for it, and I was planning on winning the event. And then I ended up on a training session in Santa Barbara, got hit my face on a rock, and then got 46 stitches.
Oh my goodness.
Really bad. It went like up and all the way down. And so we ended up doing that, and then the doctor actually said I could compete, so I competed with the stitches that year, but I was so mad because I wanted to really win. And then I made it, I think, all the way to the semis, and then but then the next year I came back and ended up winning the SUP Fiesta. So that was really cool. And then I think that was the last year they ran it, or maybe 2 years after that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact years, but what a great youth-focused event and a chance for both SUP surfing and SUP racing through the waves and all the little age groups and everything. I think I met your dad probably brought you out. Like
Yeah.
he usually, yeah. And you're the oldest. You have a younger sibling or two?
Yes, I'm the oldest, and then I have a younger brother, Kai. So he's just turned 16, actually. So he's driving, so everyone's jealous.
Woohoo!
Then I have a younger sister, Kiana. So there's three of us, and she's 14.
Yeah. Did Kai ever do the event? I feel like, or maybe he was just there watching you.
I think one year he did the event, and he won the younger age division in racing. And so he was like, I'm the national champion for like 10 to 12 racing, and it was super funny. But
Yeah.
he's really into competing. He just is a ripping free surfer.
That's a fantastic thing to be too. And we all have to
Yep.
be careful. I cut you off. I think there's a little bit of a delay. Um, so SUP surfing, is that your love, or what part of SUP is your favorite?
I would definitely have to say the SUP surfing side. Always been a soul surfer for sure. And then I'm not a fan of the flat water racing, not gonna lie. I'm not a fan of that. But then also channel crossings and downwinding, because we just have the best downwinders here on Maui. You can't
Yeah.
really know.
You have to be a downwinder, yeah.
You just have to be a downwinder.
Yeah. Also in your early teens, you not only did a crossing, you've won a crossing with a teammate. Tell us
Yes.
about crossings.
Okay. Yeah, it was on my dream list for a long time. I did my first crossing when I was 14, 13, one of those. I can't remember. But I did Maui to Molokai, and I've done that a couple times. And then my first year I did the Molokai to Oahu, I did it on a team relay with Alex Mawai and Kalia Alexio. And we just loved it. And so me and Kalia the next year, and the year after that, went and did the 2-woman relay, 14-foot stock, and we actually won that division 2 years in a row. So that was really cool. Yeah, it was awesome. I think it's way more fun as a team. Wanted to do it solo, but I'm like kind of hesitant on that.
Yes, I've only done the relay with three people, and it was a fantastic experience doing a crossing. Whether you're from Hawaii or not, I think it's on everybody's bucket list. And you did it with a darling Santa Cruz gal.
Yeah,
You-
love Kalia. She's definitely like my Hanai sister for sure, and the Alexios.
yeah, I was gonna say another great family like yours. It's so neat when they all support. Well, pretty cool that I didn't know you started in California, but Maui obviously is a big hub, and sounds like you worked with. I know who your coach is now. I got to interview her, and I think I saw that Talia used to coach you too, who we miss in the SUP world. But
Yeah, Talia coached me for a few of my channel crossings, for my Maui to Molokai solo, one of those, and then also for one of the relays too. So that was really good. I learned a lot from her. She's a fantastic downwinder and paddler altogether too.
do you still see her out there paddling? I know she got married and she still lives there, right?
Yes, she was in LA, but she moved back to Maui now, and she's actually pursuing photography. So I
Oh,
actually
cool.
session with her, and I got some great photos. They're some of my favorites. So yeah,
That's
see her.
fantastic. I think I have some of her jewelry. She was into that for a while.
Still doing jewelry too.
Yes. Gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go back. I want to talk a lot about surfing and the APP tour and the different places you've traveled and where you want to go, but I know people are waiting. Why don't you share your next step in life as a educator? I'm really, really excited.
Okay.
Tell us about what's next.
Yes. So during this time with COVID and stuff, we were kind of sitting, me and my team, my family, and we were kind of talking about what was next because I've been on the tour for the last 8 years. And I took a break after high school to travel and compete for the last 2 years. And then through a friend, we found out about a university in Australia. And we ended up getting in contact with the admissions guy that day. And I applied. It's called Bond University, and it's on the Gold Coast in Australia. And I applied, and 2 weeks later, I got the acceptance letter. So for the next 2 years, I will be heading down to Australia when we can get down there. And I'll be living down there for the next 2 years, studying in my bachelor's in sports business management.
That's
So I'm
fantastic.
excited about that. Australia's been on my list forever, and then I just never would have thought that university and Australia would be two in one, but
Yeah.
there it is. So I'm super excited for that. So hopefully soon we can get there. I started my first semester last week online. So I'm currently doing all my study online until we can get a flight down there.
Fantastic. You're a university student. That is just so fantastic. Really, really proud of you. And like you said, a double that you get to go to Australia. So Gold Coast, I hear a lot about. That's a great place for, I mean, the water culture there is amazing, but do you know, like, are there surf spots you've already scoped out? And
Yes, I have scoped out surf spots. Bond is actually located, like I want to say it's like a 2 minute drive to a spot called, I think it's called Burley Heads. So it's like a really nice right hand point break, and I heard it's like amazing for longboarding. So I'm really excited for that. And then I think I've reached out to a couple of the athletes down there that are kind of near there. I actually don't really know. My geographic skills are horrible.
you will get to know Australia while you're down there.
I reached out to a couple people, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look it up either, but isn't Currumbin on the Gold Coast, which is one of those hubs of stand up that has a ton of people?
Maybe I've
Yeah,
actually never heard of that, so maybe it is. I'll have to look into that too, for sure.
fun. Well, you will definitely have people to surf and paddle with, and hope, I'm sure you'll keep up your professional water woman even while going to school, which is a lot to balance, I know, but
Yeah.
like you
I
said, a two for one.
yes.
Yes. So let's back up. You've traveled. The APP has been all over the world tour. It's had a couple different names, but
Yeah.
you have been with it in its different. You said your very first competition was Turtle Bay, which is probably the place they've come back to the most, right? Tristan's events as the World Series and as APP, which is, close. That's
Yeah,
good.
it
But
is.
tell us about some favorite moments, the places that you've been over these 8 years of doing APP. And I know you say you don't like flat water, but I have raced with you, and you are good. Um, I I looked at pictures I don't have too many pictures with you, but one is the Santa Cruz,
Oh,
which I happen to be wearing mainly. I know this is why you go there because you get to where you get to surf, but you do that race also.
yeah. There is sometimes. Sometimes it can turn into like a little downwinder on that one for sure.
That's a good point. But let's talk those World Series tours and being a teenager, but going around the world. I think, you know, challenges, good points, bad points, favorite places.
Yes. So actually the last year was my first time doing the whole tour. Because I was on the tour, but I only did a few of the events because I was in school. So I still had to come back, and I was playing water polo for my high school
Oh,
and swim.
cool.
So I was like kind of managing all of those. But yeah, I did the Turtle Bay event, and then now it's super cool because they have the women at sunset with the guys. So we're super stoked on that. In the last couple of years, they adjusted that. And then they used to have a Huntington event, so that was super fun because I got to
Mhm.
go to California and be with some friends around there. Um, and then my favorite spot that I went to, let's see, last year I really like Gran Canaria. And
Mm,
it's super cool because everything's just so close because you don't need a car to really get anywhere. You can walk to both of the event sites that they have. Whether they're surfing, there's a right hand point break, and then there's kind of like an A frame. So they'll decide based on like what the conditions are doing on what surf spot to have it at. But that was just one of my favorites, just because everyone's there together, and it's just like right out there. You can surf and then go have coffee and breakfast and then just walk out and surf again. So it was like the location was prime. Last year we also went to Barbados. That was really cool. It reminded me a lot about Maui, just the water temperature, the people there were amazing, the community was insane. And Sioux Falls was an amazing wave, so that was super fun to surf. And then we actually had an event in New York, so that was my first time ever to New York, so that was really cool, which is kind of weird to have a surf event in New York, but when I went there and it was at Long Island, I actually really liked it, and we got a good hurricane swell that brought some good waves. So that was really, I really liked that location too. Yeah, I think that sums up all the spots
Yeah.
that I've
So
been there.
lots of traveling. One thing we talk about so often is community, and I've seen community around you. Uncle John is on, I saw, under Bella the Goat and others. And I think it's just been really neat that, families like Leah's and stuff that I think I remember seeing you with your dad at the beginning, but I know you've traveled on your own from fairly young sometimes, but always having, that extended family around you. Are there certain people who've especially helped you through the travel stuff?
Yes, for sure. So my first international trip by myself, my dad went with me to Fiji when we went to the ISA World Championships for
Mhm.
Team Hawaii. But then the year following that, we went to Denmark. And I actually went with Team Hawaii, and the Schweitzers have been a huge um, family group for me. I mean, from the start, just here in Maui, but then traveling with them. So that's been huge. And then on tour, Christian is always my go-to. He's like my dad on tour. That's what I call him. And just that whole media crew, just from the beginning, they've just always stoked to see them, and I just kind of hang out with them in the tents all the time on the tour. So, yeah, shout out to the whole media crew for being my family on tour.
That's wonderful. And brave of you and wonderful. I mean, I just think travel is such a fantastic experience and makes, you not only appreciate the world and others, but your home, this amazing home that we all want to go to. I've complained too often that part of the sadness of the COVID is more serious, but didn't get to go to Maui last month like I was supposed to with a family trip. So next year.
I mean, I might not be here because I'll be in Australia,
Oh,
but
but if
uh,
you're going to come home, you should come home in July, right? My understanding is from Connor Baxter's announcement, I think that there were going to be 4 events a little bit more coordinated so that people could come and do like downwinding, sort of that would be the months to be there. Hopefully that will happen next year and you should come back. Yeah.
a lot of events planned, especially downwinders, for July. I think APP was actually going to have an event here too, so I got really excited about that. But yeah, I think everything just had to get canceled just due to COVID.
Yeah. Everybody's still trying to rework things. So we always like to get some tips, and you are a specialist in surfing and maybe downwinding you want to throw in there too. But the first would be kind of just in getting started, some tips because surfing is definitely a skill. Definitely, what kinds of tips you had your dad teaching you from very young and getting you comfortable in the water. But how about 3 tips for anyone wanting to get started in sup surfing?
Okay. Let me think. Let's see. I think one of the biggest tips is to get the proper equipment for yourself. Everyone is different, different heights, different weight, and just likes different equipment based on their style. So getting a board that's big enough for you, that you're stable on and that you're not going to be falling off, because you're also trying to catch waves at the same time. So you're balancing and catching waves. So it's good to have a good steady board under your feet, and then a good paddle. A lot of paddles are super heavy, and can just in the end just cause you injuries, which happened with me with my
Mm.
shoulders. So getting a good paddle and getting it cut the right height for you, because you don't want it too high over your head. And then let's see.
I know it's hard that you learned kind of it was just part of growing up.
Yeah,
So you didn't have to go through these stages of, but do you see in teaching others or any, how about mistakes that might be made out there, things to avoid? Well, you kind of said that, like a good paddle, I think, makes a huge difference, not too heavy.
yeah, we had when we first started, our paddles were so heavy, and we just had them like so high over our head because it used to be like lift your arm,
Hmm.
hand, and so then after that, our shoulders were just wrecked, and so we've learned my paddle actually just goes to like above my nose now, so it's super short.
Wow.
I would say another tip, a huge one for me, is just respecting everyone in the water. Um, Especially here in Hawaii, we all take turns catching waves, so you don't want to just go out and just keep catching waves, cutting people off. So surf etiquette is a huge one.
Hmm.
Um, and
Agreed. Mhm.
I have another one. Always have your board facing out towards the waves or in, because if your board's ever facing sideways to the waves, then when the waves come, you just, yeah, it never ends well. So I always tell, because I teach surf lessons too, I always tell my students either have your nose of your board facing in towards the beach or out towards um, the horizon.
Definitely excellent tips. Hey, you mentioned equipment, so maybe you want to share what are some favorite boards or paddles or anything that you use or have used that you want to give a shout out to them.
Yes. For paddles, I actually love Black Project. I've used a couple over the years, and in the end, Black Project was just the best paddle I've used. I'm not just saying that because I'm sponsored by them. I actually believe it, like 100%. And then I like to use the Surge paddle for sup surfing. And then the Hydro paddle is my favorite for racing. And we're actually improving the paddles more and more each year, so they're just getting better as we go. And then
Is
surfboard,
he based in Hawaii? Chris, is it?
yes,
Oh,
Chris,
cool. So you get to be involved in
yes,
R&D. Oh, that's really cool.
and give feedback and fins and stuff.
Mhm.
It's super nice. Except he does live all the way, on the other side, which is an hour drive, and then
Oh.
I another island over there. Um, and then equipment wise, I actually get custom boards now from a local shaper here in Maui, Kenny Walker. So that's really cool because I've never gotten custom boards before. So I've been able to work with him and kind of learn more about just the boards and designing. But my favorite boards I think for beginners and just all around, our star boards are just great boards because they're indestructible. I rode them for 5 years and I never had an issue. And we still have our starboards to this day, and those are our go-to for like all around if we're gonna go paddle, just flat water, or if we're gonna just go mess around on small little waves. We always grab our all-around starboard. So
Cool. That's fantastic. So you've traveled quite a bit are you 20
yes,
now?
I turned
Yes.
in November actually, so
Oh,
that's
it's almost November again. It's almost birthday time.
crazy.
Yeah. Um, but you have been a lot of places, but what are there other places you'd love to explore, travel to, or maybe just the exploring might be other sports? There's a lot going on there and it kind of branching off of stand-up paddling. Have you tried the wing? Have you tried foiling?
Yes, I we did get into foiling for a little bit. Actually, like I think last year, but me and my brother have just gotten really into longboarding. Like from the beginning, we've loved longboarding, and then we both got new longboards. So the foiling kind of just is on the shelf getting dusty now, which we gotta figure that out. But I want to try the wing more for sure. But yeah, I think this summer has been longboarding a lot.
Yeah.
And then
You said you're a soul surfer, so your heart, I mean, I can just see you because you're so graceful, like walking the nose and everything.
I go to always. My dad's like, you should really get on your stand-up board. And I'm like, but the waves are so good for longboarding right now. So balancing those two. Traveling wise, Australia was actually at the top of my list. So now I
It's
gotta,
happening.
so that's about it.
Yeah, well, we'll have to. I've never been to Australia. You'll have a bunch of people come visit you in college.
Yeah, I have a list going on already. People are lining up. I'm like, okay, any day, come on in.
Ah, I love that. So, it's a funny thing to ask a 20-year-old, but when you started, you were only 12. If you could tell your young self who just started something you know now, what would you tell, or what kind of advice would you give yourself at age 12? What have you
My,
learned in these 8 years of a lot of stand-up paddleboard subs contests?
um, let's see. Hmm. That is a good question. I should have prepared more for this.
You don't have to prepare.
I would probably tell myself not to get so stressed out with contests. I tend to just get so stressed and worried about my performance and performing at my best instead of just being stoked to be out competing with all the girls because they're all ripping. Um,
Hmm.
the level of sup surfing for women has just gone up more and more each year. Yeah, tell myself to enjoy it and just take everything that I learned from just my contests and use them the next year. And yeah, just
Take
enjoy
what you learned. Yeah.
enjoying the
And
time.
enjoy it. Enjoying is important.
Yeah.
I know, off the water, I know you have faith, so I'm sure like trusting in God is important. And, but have there been other things you've learned? I mean, I've just recently like learned a lot about breathing and like to lower your stress, to improve your, are there off water things? I also saw you, I think yesterday you're working out with a coach birthday girl. Was it her birthday yesterday?
Yes. It was.
Happy birthday.
I know it was Susie's birthday. I think. Actually, because I've been doing school, I've been
Uh,
so things. So I was like, okay, I gotta post for it. I think it was a couple days ago, but yeah. Definitely there is things that I do just to start my days and just techniques to get me ready to compete over the years for sure. So every morning I start. We have like a Bible app, so I like read the Bible verse of the day is what we call it, and I just start my day praying and asking God to help me throughout the day and put like yeah and help me enjoy the time. And then yeah, Susie's given me a lot of tips actually for mental preparation for contests and
mm.
just mental stuff like that because that is like 90% of competing is mental. So I've had a couple people help me. Actually, my grandma helped me a little bit too. She wrote on an index card some things for me to do before I compete to
I
just
love that.
focus and clear my head. So yeah, there's been a couple things that we've been working on. So it's helped a lot too.
That's fantastic. Love that and love that progression. So, have you thought, I mean, and I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were already into school. So you do have a lot going on right now because you're studying, you're doing online university for the first time. So a lot of, you're juggling a lot of balls right now. I'm excited, who knows how long this COVID thing will last, but for you to get down to Australia for the first time and to enjoy the college experience down there. But do you think you'll be able to? I mean, there's races in Australia in surf contests, right? Are you going to still try to compete while you're
Yes,
going to school?
that is the plan. Trying to juggle everything has definitely been hard, just even in the first week, trying to learn the new online program and everything. But
Mm.
ideally, I will try even to just do the local events over there. I know they have a Noosa event for longboarding, so even just fun local events over there. And then just because I am in school and we're paying for school, so it just kind of depends on our budget on what is available to
Hmm.
events. So depending on if we can get there with the school timing and how much it's going to cost with all of that stuff. So we just kind of balance all of those.
I love that. And I love that you call your family your team because they are your team. And it sounds like you guys really do work together. Love that grandma pitches in too.
She comes to all of events in California too. She is dedicated.
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
yes.
John saying hi. Yeah.
I
So one non-surf event, but one that we all love and I think missed this year was the Gorge. I think you've been there a few times, haven't you?
yes. I've gone there twice. And then me and Kalia actually last year road tripped up from Santa Cruz up to that event and stayed.
Oh,
Really fun. So we got to go along the coast of Oregon, and that was super fun.
oh, that's great. Yeah. And California roots, grown and raised in Maui, and off to Australia.
Yes.
Exciting 20 years you have already had, and I know we will continue to hear great things from you. Any last words or anything you want to share, or did we kind of hit the high points?
I
We're
think
so happy for you.
Thank you. I'm excited. Yeah. Hopefully we can get yeah, I'm like really hopefully we can get down there soon because I'm like excited to get off Maui for a little bit and then I'll probably get homesick, but
I bet you are excited. That's really, really fun.
fun.
Australia, what a great place to go to university and explore. So, congrats again on that. We are SubConnect, everyone. This interview, though it is live, is immediately recorded and shows up on SubConnect's Instagram, and then it will be on YouTube after that. So, thank you again.
Thank you guys.
Aloha, mahalo. Appreciate
Thank
your time. So good to see you, and good luck with school.
you so much. Bye guys.
Yeah, take care.